meeting to order. This is a work session of the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Seaside Park in the County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, held on Thursday, August 7th, 2025, advertised for 7 p.m. Pursuant to the provisions of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting was properly provided by transmitting the notice of the meeting for publication in the Asbury Park Press and the Ocean Star on January 3rd, 2025. Notice of this meeting of the governing body also has been posted in the corridor of the municipal building and in the office of the municipal clerk. Roll call.
Councilmember Anfield?
Here.
Councilmember Condos?
Here.
Councilmember Connor?
Here.
Councilmember Kraft?
Here.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Here.
Council President Wilk?
Here.
Mayor Pearson?
Here.
Thank you.
The first item for discussion on the work session entitles one of the various aspects of ongoing due diligence to be exercised by the governing body, the procedures as to the petition that has been filed by the residents taxpayers of South Seaside Park. There is a related resolution 225, 285, and 225, 286 listed for consideration at the regular meeting. And as per guidance provided to us by both attorneys involved in the matter, there is also notice on the town website as to the procedures, as to the statute involved, and the guidelines, parameters that would apply to a decision of the governing body and the manner in which a decision ultimately would be made, and that entitles due diligence and input to be received from various professionals. And the one resolution on the calendar naturally looks for an RFP entitled, which deals with those professionals, some of whom in-house have potential or actual conflicts, and that entails the professionals involved working for both Berkeley Township as well as Seaside Park. And the other resolution entails the work involved with the planner, who is and been employed for us for a number of years, going way back to the most recent amendment to the master plan, the housing element, etc. And that individual is not employed by Berkeley Township and has provided services for the town for many years. So I don't know if anyone has any other comments on that particular ongoing procedure.
No, it's pretty clear. Yeah, we just have to go through our due diligence in order to have all the facts.
I think the only other comment just to make for everybody's benefit is that there's not an established timeline per se, so that we don't continually get asked where we are. We don't have an answer to that question. Or I know one of the questions I asked is like, when would we be prepared to have public sessions? And at this point, I think the best we could say is probably sometime in fourth quarter, without any definitive information yet, any plans.
Anything else? If not, the second item for general discussion involves ongoing review referrals that had been made to the New Jersey Marine Police. That's a division of the state police, and it entails abandoned vessels, one of which those efforts have yielded some success. The other one is still requires the Marine Police to do their work and give us more input. So I'll turn over to Steve. I know has some of the general procedures that would apply.
Well, Mayor, the New Jersey Motor Vehicle Commission, believe it or not, the NJMVC, has jurisdiction through a state statute called the Abandoned Vessel Act. And there's several procedures that the Act provides to remove the abandoned vessel from the waterway. It can be done by an official who's authorized to do so. We don't have an ordinance that authorizes anybody in the municipality to do it. I think the state police have jurisdiction, the New Jersey State Marine Police have jurisdiction in the waterways. I believe our business administrator, Ms. Kroon, did contact them, and they have advised that they don't handle, or they don't get involved with removing abandoned vessels, correct?
Yes, they'll give a summons, but they
They'll
won't,
give a
once they,
summons, but they won't do a physical removal.
correct.
I think many, many years ago, Ocean County used to have a barge or a program that did remove vessels. I did contact the county council's office. I spoke with someone in their office, and they were going to review that and get back, but the thought is that that hasn't happened in many, many years. They no longer, the county no longer has a barge or a system where they remove abandoned vessels in the bay. So that'll leave it up to us as a municipality, which the statute provides that we can initiate removal of the abandoned vessel. There's a couple of ways to do it. I'll give the mayor and council a memo on it. Basically, it's either we pay to have it removed to a storage facility, which we may be able to do, and then the owner is responsible to get it out of the impound, wherever that may be. The other way is to obtain a title by sending out notice to the registered owner of the vessel, giving them an opportunity to remove it. And if not, then we can apply, I think, for a title through NJNBC, declare it as an abandoned vessel, and then once we have title, we can go ahead and dispose of it as we desire. So that's basically where that's at.
And I know there's much progress with respect to the one vessel, for which we certainly thank our attorney, our administrator, our police department, and the Marine Police, a team effort, and that has finally resulted in some progress on that vessel.
We obtained a
Right.
deed and title by a consent order.
So that one, we've got well on its way to resolution. And the other one, I think we need to initiate a further follow-up investigation by the New Jersey Marine Police, if for no other reason to get...
They're going to try and help us determine who the registered
Yeah.
owner is, and once we know that, we can procedurally under the statute get moving on toward an abandonment. Removal, I should say, one way or the other.
Because that one is right at the border, Seaside Park, Seaside Heights. It appears, if you do the line, that we've got it.
It's ours.
So, and that, there's also a nuance on that one, I believe, and I know Steve had researched it some, there's a potential at least for some grant money. That one's, and I think, again, Steve, our attorney, and Karen, our administrator, both have been on top of that one too.
Yeah, NOAA has a grant program. It started out as recovering commercial crab pots, and then it also morphed into abandoned vessels. So the boat off of Farragut Avenue is within their zone that's been approved by NOAA. So it's a NOAA grant through Stockton University. So I reached out to the state police on Tuesday, asked them if they would, investigate the boat, if they can declare it an abandoned vessel, then we can try and get title through the NJMVC abandoned vessel program. Once we get that, then we can take care of it. And through this grant, the grant administrator, it's a professor at Stockton, says that the town should be 100% fully reimbursed for all costs associated with it.
So that's some positive news
Yes,
also.
very much so.
So,
Yeah, unfortunately, the boat off of Brighton is not in that zone that's been pre-approved by NOAA. And in order to even have NOAA review it and look at it, that could take another 2 months or so. We're working on getting the title from the owner on that, rather than having to go through the motor vehicle process, which is also arduous. And we're hopeful that that can be taken care of much sooner.
very good. Thank you, Karen. Anyone else on that issues?
I would say thank you for doing all the work
Yeah.
Yeah,
on
a lot of work.
it. And also, it's not just the fact that, people complain that it's there. It's, it's a hazard for people who are out there, and I think you said one of them, they saw kids climbing on it. and
Yeah.
So,
Safety
yeah.
problem,
It's
yeah.
an eyesore,
Yeah.
it's everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Any consolation, we've been down this road before. We've been on 9th Avenue, we've been down this road before.
Any other comments from council? Anything else for work session discussion from council?
Nope.
Hearing none, I'll go into the audience. If there are any public comments on any of the work session items, if you have them, if you could give your name and address into the record as per the Open Public Meetings Act. Any of those items? Yes, Alan?
Alan Mobley at 1450 Street. On the two boats that we have in the water or below the water line, let's say, are we talking about the town incurring this cost? I know that you said there's a grant possibility, but are we going to incur this cost? And if we do, have we thought about putting a lien on the owner's property or something? I mean, this is not at least I don't think it's something that the taxpayers want to pay for. So I don't know if you've gone that step, or maybe we don't have to, but I would think that if we have to incur the cost and it's our tax dollars, I would think maybe they would have to, maybe we have to put a lien on their property, so, or get the money back somehow, or, as you said before, have the owners remove it at their cost under a certain time frame. Thank you.
Any comment on that?
Well, you can't lien their property. The statute will provide that we can pursue them for the cost of removal. So that's why it'd be very good to find out if there is an owner, send a registered letter, put them on notice, and say if they don't remove it, we'll do it, and we will take action against them for the costs. It would probably mean a civil suit, probably in small claims court, low jurisdiction. There's nothing to lien, but you can sue them for the costs.
Very good. Any other comments on the work session items? Hearing none, I would close the work. Yes, Mitch.
Mitch Koppelman, 204 10th Avenue. First, I'd like to thank the borough for posting the Q&A, the frequently answered questions regarding the annexation. They were very helpful to get the discussion at this meeting off to a start. But I do have a very fundamental question. I just can't quite understand the difference in scope between the two proposals in Resolution 285 and 286. What would be the difference of the work products that will be coming from those two?
The one resolution is actually an engagement with our already employed planner. We have a planner that works for Seaside Park, had done it used to be COA, it's no longer called COA, but the housing element had done that. Recently has also done the work for a prior governing body for a re-examination of the master plan. So that particular planner has been employed here for a number of years and very well thought of statewide. So that's authorizing the planner to begin the work needed for input for our due diligence.
So
that's the one of them.
Will that be different than the scope of the work you're going to put out for proposal? And if so,
Yes.
My
That's
comment would
planner. A scope of the proposal is really to look at whatever is out there in terms of consultants, in terms of there are some in-house firms, for example, that have engineers, they have auditors, they have a whole host of professionals already employed, we're advised, and we are looking in particular at those professionals who obviously have a conflict of interest in the Seaside Park. They can't do the work for us because they're employed by Berkeley Township also. It's public record which ones they are.
Sure.
It's very clear.
Well, I appreciate the need for understanding where conflict of interest might occur in any consultants we hire on a project like this, but isn't it also likely that when you put out the request for proposal, you'll be getting firms who have expertise all the way through, not including planning, and therefore one organization can cover the whole thing? So might it be worthwhile to put that RFP out first, see what you get in before you hire a planner? If the firm you want to go with already has a planning function, so it's already integrated into one firm?
We have a planner who has a very widely acclaimed statewide reputation. They're based in Mercer County. They have in their system, their computer, if you will, they have every property already. They've already done a reexamination of our master plan, so a lot of it is already there, their work products. So that's just some of the considerations that have gone into why we've found it best to keep in place that plan.
So I will assume that when you get your input from your RFP, that you'll be looking for firms who are very comfortable in working with a planner from another firm with the data.
That would certainly be one of the criteria. If they say they're not comfortable, they may or may not.
Well, that's what I'm going to try to suggest. That's the route you're going, make sure that is one of the criteria.
Yeah,
Thank you.
certainly.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yes, Edie?
Edie Klein, 48 11th Avenue. I just want to follow up on what Mitch asked because I'm really confused. So Resolution 285, you're looking for companies to, a proposal for the people, the firms that would have the expertise in the services that you mentioned, you know, financial, legal, et cetera, et cetera. 286, McManus has already submitted a proposal which you are accepting. So what planning are they going to do? Or let me ask this another way. When you get the, and maybe Mitch, you asked this and I still don't understand it. Once you get the company that's, let's say, they get the proposal, blah, 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 for 285, once you get that company and they're going to do all that work, then is McManus the one that looks at all of that and gives a recommendation? I'm still don't understand why we have two separate.
I'll try to say, restate a little bit what the mayor was saying, that they're two separate things. So one's talking about planning as a whole, which is the second one, 286. Think about that as our planning board type functions, the zoning, things like that,
Zoning,
codes.
everything, that's one part.
And the first one, it's not necessarily, I don't believe, limited to us choosing one firm in 285.
Right.
Because they all have expertise in different areas. So you might want to choose one firm who has expertise in understanding all the budget implications of such a annexation. You might have another firm who's really expert in looking at public safety and educational impacts. So that we get the people who are expert in their areas giving us the best assessments so we can make a decision.
Okay, I get 285, it's 286 that I just don't understand what they're going to be planning.
So, for example, one of the aspects of an annexation is what are our land use and zoning regulations? And what are the land use and zoning regulations of the real estate property that seeks to be annexed? So, for example, we have single-family zoning, I believe now throughout the municipality, and maybe they don't. So how is that going to impact? Do we need to rezone? Will there be a rezoning issue in terms of, where their properties are? And, or do we accept what their zones are and incorporate that and leave it the way it is? So the impact of their zoning and what they have in where they are now being annexed to us as Seaside Park as compared to what the rest of the zoning is for what we have in Seaside Park. That could be a substantial issue and impact that has to be reviewed. And a planner will give advice as to how that should happen in the event an annexation takes place.
Okay, I
And
think I
make
got it now.
recommendations.
I'm thinking planning like, just planning. But,
No,
you
this
know,
is the
planning
impact of their
Kind of
current-
like the planning board.
Right,
Correct.
exactly.
Okay.
Their current- Right. In other words, and like when you, it's like when you go to a planning board, usually you have a planner, you have an engineer, you have an architect, for all the different areas of the development that need those expertise, and that's what you're saying here. It may be that we need someone in finance only with regard to tax assessment maybe, or budget issues, or service issues, how does it impact police and everything else? So you may maybe need 3 or 4 different experts to weigh in on those areas to come up with a overall plan.
Okay, thank you.
Because if the annexation, for example, is denied, like it was in Berkeley, then they have the right to go to the court and say, we think it was arbitrary and capricious and unreasonable, and get overturned, which happened in Berkeley. So whatever we do as a governing body, we have to make sure we're not arbitrary, capricious, and unreasonable. We have to be reasonable and have the right experts give us the right information and then make the decision.
Okay, I think my confusion just came from the word plan.
Sure, of course.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yes, Mitch?
Mitch Koppelman, 204. Steve, I love your analogy to the planning board situation, and it brings up my thought process here. When a candidate with a variance or whatever goes to the planning board, they often have an attorney who brings a planning person, brings an engineer or whatever else needs to support their case. But the whole process of bringing it all together and what's going to be presented is generally left to the attorney. So what my suggestion to you is, I appreciate, Gina, what you said about you're going to hire the best people for the best areas, but I would really suggest there is one overarching individual consulting firm who brings it all together and presents the package, first to the council and then to the public.
Thank you. Yes, Gert?
Gertrude Martin, 812 North Bayview Avenue. I just have one question. This really then will be decided by basically judges, where last time this item came up, I guess it was over 40 years ago, it was really voted on by the people of Seaside Park. They will be left out of this other than comments at various meetings. Is this the case?
Well, it's not going to be decided by judges at first. It's going to be decided by the mayor and council as to whether to draft an ordinance to accept the petition for annexation after public hearings. And then, whatever the decision is, either side can then go to court and appeal the decision, one way or the other.
I mean, I was just, because it was decided with prejudice last time, that it couldn't come up again.
That was the Supreme Court of New Jersey that gave the ultimate decision that affirmed the decision of Judge Ford and the appellate division.
Okay.
It went through 3 different courts.
Okay. So it
But
will
first it went to the governing body of Berkeley, who denied the petition, and the appeal took place.
But you made a very good point that's worth emphasizing. That procedure, that entire process that occurred 1979, 1980, what?
81.
81, that procedure was under a former New Jersey state statute.
Things
The
change.
statute has changed. In 1982, perhaps in reaction to that situation, there's a new statute, and then it's been amended at least 3 times.
Wow.
So that new statute, which we're required to adhere to, has standards imposed on when, if a decision is made, it has to be supported. And the arbitrary, capricious, unreasonable standard.
Okay. It will not come to a vote of the town, people in the Seaside Park then.
It's, the statute has to be
Check.
followed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other comments on the work session? Hearing none, I'll close the work session. I would entertain a motion for brief adjournment and then to begin our regular meeting. Councilmember Condos, second by Councilmember Amabile. Roll call.
Councilmember Condos?
Yes.
Councilmember Anfield?
Yes.
Councilmember Connors?
Yes.
Councilmember Kraft?
Yes.
Councilmember Rotunda?
Yes.
Council President Wilk?
Yes.
Motion approved.
And we'll stand adjourned momentarily.